tell y'all right now, this is not a live that Cam and Mace would be able to do. All right. It's probably gonna be a lot of pause worthy stuff going on for all y'all that play that game. I don't. Um, I'm not even gonna be laughing throughout this live, man. There's a lot of serious stuff that we're gonna touch on. I know this could be a little bit too mature for certain people, but let me give y'all a little bit of a backdrop first. We did see the Terrence Howard podcast new interview come out a couple days ago, okay? And we did take a look at his clip talking about Diddy, how Diddy flew him in to, help him with some acting coaching. And then he's like, yo, man, so when we gonna get to work? And he realized that sooner or later, Diddy was allegedly just trying to sleep with the man. And he's just like, okay. But he had a whole nother piece of that interview where he goes on about a man giving up his manhood, right? So I want us to look at that piece right there. And then there's some other people that we're going to look into. Y'all see them in the thumbnail. Some of them are going through all types of stuff and freakos. Other people have been looked at recently as to, man, what is he going through? What's going on? And during this conversation, we're going to think about other people in other areas in Hollywood where this type of stuff just continues to come up. Disclaimer, second disclaimer. I'm not the over conspiracy theory person, okay? Yes, when I was younger, I watched all the 9/11 conspiracy DVDs. Yes, I did watch the Bohemian Grove DVD. Yes, I did watch documentaries on the Bilderbergs and Freemasonry. I went through all of that type of stuff, especially post 9/11. I'm a very open-minded person, meaning that if you tell me, hey, man, all these people started pulling out of the stock market and taking off of work, and these connections between Al Qaeda and our government, like take a look at this. I'm going to be open-minded. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say possible. I'm not just going to be some over American flag waving person like, no, never. That makes no sense. Why would we do that? Shut up. All right. Power, money, corruption, greed. It's everywhere. And I just happen to be a person that partook in a smaller industry myself. And the amount of things that I've seen and the amount of things that I know, for me, it's a reminder. Like, yeah, it's wild out there. And Hollywood just has so much going on. It's scary. It's like the higher up you move, you're going to hear stories like Meek Mill and Diddy, right? You're going to hear audio leaks and you're going to ask yourself, is this real? Is this fake? I'm not sure. Is this Nicki Minaj just trying to expose them? Is what's going on with this video of Meek in the pool? You got stuff like that, right? But you got to ask yourself, like, based on Hollywood and the record industry and what goes on and what continues to be exposed, there's got to be some truth to some of this shit, right? It can't all be people reaching. It can't be everybody is crazy. It can't be, hey, Dave Chapelle, you're crazy. Terrence Howard, you're crazy. Cat Williams, you're crazy. Will they say some inaccurate or maybe crazy things at times? Sure. But everybody's lying. Everybody's just making this shit up year after year, generation after generation, exposed after exposed, problem after problem. Okay. Let's look. So once again, this is the piece of the Terrence Howard interview that we didn't check out the other day.
If you would like to connect with me, you can connect with me on Connect. The QR code is down below, and let's have a great conversation.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.
My bad from the beginning.
Losing out money. You got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it. A man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there, because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter.
Maintain your man card no matter what. I'll give y'all a story. Why not? I told y'all this got to be a little bit more of a mature live today. Okay, I'll give y'all a story. True story. I won't say her full name. A girl by the name of Z, right? And there was somebody else that was there that witnessed this. And let me make sure I put my names out there as always, so everybody knows I'm able to keep my credibility. The co-owner of Verbiage Entertainment, Shata. Okay, anybody ever heard of him? Anybody ever see him? Okay, cool. And so once upon a time, younger year, long time ago, it's me, this young lady Z, that I was dating at the time. It was real early. Like we had just met like I don't know, about a month or so ago, whatever. Did I take it down at that point? Yeah, I did. I'm only saying that to give context. But it was early. Like we was dating, we was seeing each other, and we over my crib, and now I'm letting her start to meet a couple people that's around me, right? So here goes Shata, and he's doing the brotherly thing of feeling her out, throwing her questions and shit. Hey, you ever see Menace to Society? What's that? Whoa. You ever see Boys in the Hood? What artist you listening to right now? Like, so he doing that shit to her. You know what I'm saying? And I fall back. You know how when you got people that you're close to, you might even let them I guess knife in a little bit to people that you bring. It's like an interview, damn near. It's like a secondary interview that you fall back and you allow to happen, right? So he's giving her this interview, right? And he gets through like music and movies and stuff. And I'll never forget, like if you've ever met Shanta, he's a very bold and a very blunt person. See, we have a contrast between us where we think the same thing and we'll end up at the same finish line, but we take different routes. That's where he and I are different, right? Me, I could be way more politically correct. I could be thinking it and looking you in your eyes and allowing you to lie to me. And I play sheep way more than he does. Him, he puts it right there for everybody to see. Okay. So he's listening to her. And she's going through her whole spiel of the type of shit she listens to. Yeah, Marilyn Manson. No, I don't think that she said that, but it's just like, yo, there's a big difference between you and my bro. And he says right to her face, he says, yeah, y'all ain't gonna work. And she's like, why would you say that? No, don't say that. And I'm being an ass. We was younger people. We was younger. I'm being an asshole by letting it go down. So just watch it. Just listen to it. Just I ain't trying to save you. Go ahead, get her. But I just try to lighten the mood, people, because we're about to go left a little bit. Okay. Now, as we continue to both sit there and interview her or drill her, right? No pun intended. Somehow the conversation starts to go into pornography and porn, right? What type of porn, blah, blah, all that type of shit. She had a kinky fetish for some weird type of porn, all right? Things that it's not out there. It's not crazy, but it's just like, okay, whatever, a little freakier than some. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's behind the scenes and closed doors and private. And then we end up in this whole debate. She had this theory of if a man sleeps with another man only for his profession, i.e., a male porn star, but he still goes home and lives a heterosexual life to his wife and his kids, he is not homosexual. This debate, she was a good arguer. So this debate, we sat there for like at least 30 minutes going through the cycles of this shit. you know what side of the fence I was on with this debate, right? And obviously shot this on the civil side. And she was trying to give these points to it about the money and about it's a job. When it's a job, it's different. When you're earning a living, that's different. What's in your mind of what you really want to be, and when you leave your workplace and you go home and you practice that life, that's the real you. And we're just that's the conversation. That's the debate. And I guess I give that little story because you don't have to be in Hollywood to see certain people have that mind state. Now, when you think about Hollywood, you think about some of the stuff that Terrence Howard is saying here. Think about the way different ramifications there of the pressure of success, the pressure of these people around you, the powerful people, the influence. Imagine walking into a party and allegedly a Diddy party, right? And you thought you was experienced, you thought you was open-minded, and then you look around and you see how freely some of this shit is. These people that are all powerful, these people that all get left alone by the authorities, damn near, these people that just, right? And like Cat Williams does in like his stand-ups, I walking down the hall, I kick in the door and I see this, and I open this door and I see this, and imagine you just walking into this place and it's like a movie, just like the fuck, like that celebrity right there, just everybody, nigga, do you know we can see you? Putting all that shit up his nose, and then there's a little orgy happening in the corner, and this person's walking around with a camera, and this person's over there injecting himself with a needle. You just like, what the fuck is this? Y'all ever see the what is it, Netflix? I forget what platform it is, but the series Fall of the House of Usher, right? And the kid he did the masquerade party. This is art imitates life. This is all very, very real shit. The second house party that just came out, right? It was trash, but was it House Party? Yeah, that LeBron James was in. It was horrible. But what did they depict towards the end of that secret society, party that they ended up in or whatever, and they had, right? It's everywhere. Now just imagine if I have a woman that I happen to cross paths with and I start dating and we peer into her personality and she has these type of beliefs. Like if you're at a job and you want to do a gay scene as a porn star, and then that's not even within the industry or these power circles where there's that level of pressure. Okay. Now I agree with Terrence here. From the outside looking in, that perspective is just like what makes a man a man. Like he gave an example of the women. Y'all could drop in the chat how y'all feel. Like when he said giving up your ability to be a mother and to have a family. So I assume something like getting your tubes tied or something. I guess that's the only thing I could guess when he was explaining it. So I'll let the ladies speak for themselves there. But a man, if I have to look around and see possibly the effects of some of this stuff, allegedly, right? When he says he's seen people that they've never been able to recover. That's where people start bringing up the Justin Biebers of the world and whatnot. And it just looks like it might be accurate, allegedly, right? Let's continue this, and then we're going to get into some Justin Bieber footage.
No matter what.
Man, I mean, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in. no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequence
yeah.
of
I
when you
mean,
said no?
Puppy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh,
look at his face.
Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off, or talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
I had no idea.
He's like, I just got some gold content. We brought up Diddy and shit. I'm sorry, people, but he seems so genuine right there. And I know he's been a very health scientific based person in this part of his career. He did like Joe Rogan and talked about, regimens that he's been on to make his skin healthy and everything like that. I don't take him as somebody that just comes up here that's just, just flimsying around and just making up shit. Like, he seems very coherent. He seems very genuine there. That was just in the moment. Like, have you ever been in situations where you had to reject or whatever? Hell yeah. Did he invite me over to do some acid? It was just all there. Like, I don't think this is bullshit. I don't think, and even if his story is slightly skewed, there's elements there that it's just like, nah, listen to what this fucking man is saying. You know what I'm saying? Aside from the man shit, I'm just talking about the stories that he's delivering. Right. So before I bring up some of this Justin Bieber stuff, let me ask y'all this. What is your definition of giving away your soul, or what is your soul? Right. You're going to get different answers based on who you talk to, because, and I will never disrespect, so I don't do too much religion up here, right? But you got people, shout out to the supers too. I'm going to come over to the chat in a second. You got people that are more spiritual, right? So to them, their soul is almost like an entity within itself, right? Think about a movie like Pulp Fiction. They took the depiction of a soul being such of it's an entity within itself that they depicted it being in a briefcase, right? I lost a bet with my barber once upon a time. I wasn't always bald, right? I lost a bet with my barber once upon a time. He told me, he was like, nah, that's a soul that was in a briefcase this whole time, movie head. And I was just like, no, it ain't. Pulp Fiction ain't a scientific, La La Land fantasy type of movie. What are you talking about? I was like, it's like gold and diamonds and shit, right? And he's like, let's Google it. I forget how much money I lost. Probably like $50, $100, something like that. We started Googling. I was like, oh, shit. Damn, I'm not paying attention. This is Quentin Tarantino. Damn it. I lost the bet, right? It was a long time ago, earlier in I probably watched the movie like maybe once or twice at that time. But it's such a classic. But that depiction there is making it more the obvious, like what certain people believe your soul is, as if it could leave your body and come back. And me personally, I don't go there, right? I think your soul is more so, for me, it damn near aligns with your conscience. For me, everybody's different. It aligns with your conscience. It's what steers you. It's what makes you feel whole or not, and what makes you feel like you are who you believe you are. There's pieces of that, like just simply looking into the mirror and who do you see? We're not talking about a reflection, people. This is deeper. That to me is your soul. I use this example how many times? The Jay-Z Freeway, what we do is wrong. How many times I use the fucking Moment of Clarity Jay-Z lyrics? Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. It's people that they want to do the giveaways and the charities, and they want to give away, do the turkey drives and all that. but they know the things that they're involved. Like the biggest drug dealers in the world, come around Christmas, they want to do toy drives. They want to give away. Nino Brown is out there giving Pookie a turkey, right? And then what does he say to him after that? Hey, when you clean yourself up, come work for me. Come break some more crimes with me, right? Not only are they trying to buy the hood's loyalty, but it's also a soul cleansing thing. This is reality of what people do, because when they look in the mirror, they see something that's dirty. They see something that they know is wrong. Even though what we do is wrong, they see it, they feel it. That's your soul to me. For me, that's your soul. So I totally could see with his perspective there. Like, if you're born a male and you're raised into being a man and you carry a man card, not just your you know what I'm saying, but you carry a man card, you carry that type of energy, that type of stance. You grow in the path of being dominant, being aggressive in certain areas, being just what it is to be a man. Okay, that's directly tied to who you see in the mirror, i.e., your soul. And you're taught, some of us, a lot of us, I know it's sensitive these days. I want to be careful. I ain't trying to get canceled. But like he said, the takers versus the receivers, or you see what I'm saying? The men are the takers, the lions that, you know what I'm saying? And even though the females do the hunting, but they do the taking. That's my carcass. Like, I'm drawing all these references at once, people. Stay with me. But that type of person, that type of human being, that type of man, when he looks in the mirror, he doesn't see access to that. And if you were in Hollywood and you gave that shit away, I could understand you being corrupted by it. I could understand you never being the same. I could understand you being turned out by drugs because you need to find ways to soothe the pain or to hide underneath something that'll follow you for the rest of it's your soul now. It ain't the briefcase. It could go away and come back and then you could separate. No, it's you walking around like that. Like, I really, really last night was at a party and I know I'm in the midst of negotiating this fucking album deal. But damn, I did that shit. Yeah, you did that shit. So, Justin Bieber has been allegedly, and this is all due respect, man. Justin Bieber has been somebody that's been looked into a lot. And there's hundreds of people in Hollywood over the years that's been looked into. But people believe the turnout of Justin Bieber is epic. We've seen a video of him and Diddy. We'll get to that, actually. This is one just when you YouTube search him. I saw this one for the first time. Like, this was new to me. I didn't see this one. Now I guess you're gonna have people in the world. Let's be mature and let's be cool about this. That's gonna look at this and think that it's harmless. And based on how you're raised or based on what you believe is tied to your man card or your soul, you're gonna look at this in other respects and say, you're not supposed to do this. Shit, Lil Baby has been fighting back from that type of fun looking hug. And that's just a picture. I think that that's harmless. But this right here is not just a little harmless, spur of the moment picture that looks crazy, still moment. This is all out something that will jeopardize how you feel as being a man. I said this was going to be a very mature stream. Okay. Now, Jaden, we love Will Smith. I love Will Smith, man. We have a lot of respect for that man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just trying to avoid getting the next person getting slapped or nothing. No, we fuck with Will Smith. Will is one of our guys. But let's be real, man. We always thought that there was odd things to his son. Right. And I'm not trying to call the man odd, or this isn't about somebody's sexual preference. It's about somebody's behavior. Like, even if you have your own sexual preferences that might be different from the next man, which is to be respected, don't cancel me, people. It doesn't mean from a behavior standpoint, freely, we just walk up on another man that doesn't know and just start grinding on him and shaking on him. And it's not valid behavior. There's a lot of men that turn around and would have put him in the fucking ground for that, right? But Justin Bieber is different. This one here is like a mini doc on Justin Bieber.
So I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're exploring the history between Sean Diddy Combs and Justin Bieber.
I just think there's so many issues in society and things that I'm eventually going to want to just speak about.
Part 1, The Lost 48 Hours. Diddy, or Puff Daddy, was already an established performer and music mogul by the time Justin Bieber was born on March 1st, 1994. That same year, Diddy welcomed another young protege to Puffy Flavor Camp. Usher was a young teenager when he went to live with Diddy in New York for a year.
And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Diddy executive produced Usher's debut studio album and introduced the rising star to his excessive lifestyle. Reflecting on Diddy's, quote, wild parties in 2016, Usher said he'd never send his children to Flavor Camp.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
That didn't stop one of Usher's proteges from working and partying alongside Puffy. After Scooter Braun discovered Justin Bieber on YouTube, the 13-year-old singer met Usher. Braun and Usher founded RBMG Records, delivering a launching pad for Bieber's career.
Yeah, and we ended up signing a deal with Usher a couple months later.
Although Usher provided a common link, Bieber directly contacted Diddy through Twitter on October 15, 2009, asking if he'd collaborate on a song. Diddy quickly responded, quote, "Send me the song. I'll check it out. Thanks." Bieber soon found himself at Diddy's house with a few others. Although they didn't record a song, the two shot a video where Diddy promised Bieber a Lamborghini for his upcoming 16th birthday and a mansion for his 18th.
You get 18, you get the house. Get the mansion.
Okay.
Addressing the camera, Diddy said Bieber would be...
Yeah, I gotta say this real quick. You see, I done moved from 50 to about 55, 45, 55 being that I think Diddy's gonna get off. The trial is on the way. It's going to be crazy. Cassie's gonna take the stand. We believe other witnesses going to be called. New names are going to be exposed. For all we know, new tapes and new stories come out. It's going to be one of the wildest. Oh man. But I'm right now today, 55% chance that I think Diddy is getting off, right? When we visit videos like this and it's like because we forget. It's human nature to time heals. You know how to say time heals everything? We're so much of a victim of that. It's human nature though. So nobody is to blame for that. It's human fucking nature. The more time that passes, the less strength you have in certain feelings. They just subside, they go down, other things take priority, other things become important, your memory fades, it doesn't hurt as much anymore, things move further away from you. Time can heal everything, right? Pretty much, right? But I'm taking the position that I'm done ever looking at Diddy as if he's a good person, period. Like, I don't care what happens in the trial. And I know that's wrong to say because some people would probably get at me and saying like everybody deserves their day in court, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not talking about his case. I'm not talking about his charges, right? I'm the type of person I could separate. I could be of the opinion like, okay, he was found innocent and we watched the trial and oh shit, yeah, I do think that right there was a money move. I do think that over here was bullshit. I do think that these 50 people over here is coming for a money grab. I do think that, you know, the freak off really was a bunch of consensual adults, right? That's cool. I can do that. But I just think that he's done a lot of shit. And I think he's corrupted a lot of people. I think he's fucked over a lot of people. No pun intended. Oh, shit. I think he's fucked over a lot of people. And I just don't think that he's a safe or a good dude. I think the people, especially after this trial, like if he makes it back outside, the people that would be around him because they're shallow, they're opportunist, or they're so much in love with him, like i.e. like family, like his kids, that, you know, he can do no wrong, you know, or they overlook his shit. I don't fit any of those categories. I don't want a dime from him. I'm not his family. I'm not a sweep it under the rug. I don't want no opportunity, none of that. I could never look at this guy like, again, I just can't. It's just too much over the years. It's way, 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 way too much. A billion people saying things like, nah, and showing things that we've actually seen. Nah.
With him for 48 hours. This video saw a resurgence in 2024 as Diddy faced charges of abuse and sex trafficking. These accusations left people viewing the video in a much different light, prompting them to question what happened over those 48 hours.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
While there isn't a detailed record, the fan wiki Bieberpedia has potentially connected a few dots. The video was posted to Bieber's YouTube channel on November 9th, 2009.
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go.
According to Bieberpedia, though, the video was shot on October 31st. That same day, Bieber recorded a bit for 97.1 AMP radio and modeled for the clothing company Levi's. By nightfall, Bieber was trick-or-treating with his friends. Diddy notably isn't present in any of these photos. On November 1st, Bieber tweeted that he couldn't travel to Vancouver for a show as planned because of an illness. If Bieberpedia is accurate, it's possible that Diddy wasn't actually with Bieber for 48 straight hours and that video was more of a publicity stunt.
Man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
Another video posted to Diddy's YouTube page on December 15th, 2010, also garnered concern amid his recent arrest. When Diddy asked why they hadn't hung out for a while, Bieber gave him a fake 555 number.
Yeah.
555.
Yes. Okay.
5555.
Okay. 555. You heard that?
Knowing what we know now, some have interpreted this as Bieber trying to distance himself from Diddy. This seems unlikely for 3 reasons. 1, if that was the case, Bieber probably wouldn't have shot the video or accepted Diddy's dirty money swag.
There you go.
That is
Justin
that is
Bieber.
swag.
Is it your swag?
2, Bieber obviously wasn't going to give his real number in a public video. And 3, Diddy and Bieber were seen together several times throughout the following years. Most notably, Jimmy Kimmel interviewed them in 2011, where Diddy said Bieber, quote, knows better than to share what they do together.
He knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff.
Part 2, stuck with you. Bieber started to gain a bad boy reputation after being arrested in January 2014. Pulled over for suspicions of drunk driving, Bieber was also accused of drag race, driving with an expired license, and resisting arrest.
All right, the first case this afternoon is Justin Bieber.
Diddy defended Bieber, saying he would ensure the young artist made more responsible decisions.
I don't think that he should be judged like he's not a human being.
This wasn't reflected behind the scenes. A month after his arrest, Bieber was seen at one of Diddy's parties in Atlanta. Rick Ross, Lil Scrappy, T.I., and several others were also in attendance. Bieber was still a month away from turning 20. Although the media focused on Bieber's behavior, few questioned the nature of Diddy's parties or why so many adults were partying with someone who hadn't even turned 21 yet. Bieber attended Justin Combs' 21st birthday in 2015. Then, when Bieber turned 21, he recorded a video with Diddy. Drinking tequila together, Diddy claimed that this was Bieber's, quote, first shot ever.
Justin Bieber's first shot ever. Do not believe anything.
For Bieber's 22nd birthday, Diddy presented him with a Bad Boy Letterman jacket. By early 2020, it appeared Bieber had changed his ways, expressing a desire to start a family with his wife Hailey. In an Apple Music interview, Bieber also tearfully made a vague statement about wanting to, quote, protect Billie Eilish from the industry hurdles he endured as an up-and-coming artist.
I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to go through anything I went through.
Bieber didn't name any names and could have been alluding to any number of...
You know, that going through things that I went through statement right there. I remember that one. And one thing that I always picked on that for was, it's almost like the Lil Wayne thing, right? You got people that used to get at Lil Wayne a lot for his gang shit, right? They was like, wait a minute. Gilly used to get at him for this too when they were their DVD era beef. Like, wait a minute. You grew up in the industry. You had a record deal since a child. Baby took you in since you were like a little teen, like 12, whatever it was. Like, you've been there since you was a kid. You had the opportunity and the music. That's been you. So later on, when we already knew you, we're talking Hot Boy days and shit. So later on, after the Hot Boy days, then you turned into this industry blood after Mac 10 came in there and everything, right? And it's just like, at what point in your life, while we were watching you be successful, were you on the pavement gangbanging? When did you get active? You know what I'm saying? Now, as time passes, people get more and more affiliated. Their money talks. Maybe they did shit. He got locked up he had to sit down for a few. Maybe he still stood on his square. And there's these things as time passes that makes your gang card, your affiliation card stronger and stronger and stronger. It's also time put in. You know, you got people that look at Chris Brown and say, I ain't gonna lie, man, like the amount of that at this point that he's put in for the hood, like, nah, he's certified. But that was earned with time, right? Versus like the other kid that was born in this shit, grew up in this shit, watched his friends get off, was going to school gang banging and getting put on in the alleyways and fussing and fighting and getting jumped and all that type of shit. They're like, so when were you gang banging then? If we knew you before then, right? Same thing, same type of question from this interview that I remember when he says, I just don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. Well, even in this video, they're chronicling him from a little kid, little tyke. So it's just like, all right, you grew up in the industry. We watched you with cameras in front of you and record deals. And even as a little kid, you was there in the room with Diddy saying, hey, man, why don't got your new number? And this is Diddy. This is one of the biggest, most powerful people in the music industry. Hey, man, how come I got your number? Why we don't hang out no more? So we didn't meet you as a grown man. And then you give us a story of, man, the way I grew up and the neighborhood I came up in and everything. Like, we knew you as a kid. So when you say things like this, I just want to protect her from the things that I had to go through. People's only going to assume one thing, the industry that turned you the fuck out. That's what you're talking about protecting the person from. Because that's where you've experienced and seen the most as far as good and bad. And that's where we've been since we met you. The fucking industry. You know what I'm saying? So this interview is extremely telling. You just can't let that type of shit go over your head.
Of struggles. Through a modern lens, though, it's hard not to think of Diddy.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry.
A few months after the Apple interview, 2 Twitter users accused Bieber of sexual assault.
Whereas you see other people in the industry that claim that as younger kids, they've been through the same thing as Justin Bieber, but it just looked like they turned out different, right? So when you see the clips of Usher, it's just like, yeah, Diddy was my guardian. I lived with him for a little bit. And remember that funny clip with Kevin Hart and Diddy and Usher? He's like, yo, we wake up and Kevin Hart starts laughing like, what? What did you just say? You know what I'm saying? But that was Usher's upbringing. Don't know what happened to him outside of some of the things that he's alluded to. He's alluded to like, yo, I wasn't supposed to be exposed to some of this shit, right? But this is the Diddy effect, right? Now, you could end up being an Usher, still on tour, feeding everybody cherries, and you look just like a regular, social, successful man. Shout out to Ursh, still doing Super Bowl halftime shows and shit. Or you could end up like Justin Bieber, and it just looks like you never recovered from what you were exposed to or allegedly put through when you were young. It's insane, man. It's like all there for us, but we want to ignore it. I don't know why.
Bieber denied these accusations and filed a defamation suit against the users, which he later dropped. Bieber weathered the scandal, with the media's attention soon shifting to Diddy. In 2021, Diddy was recorded checking to see if Bieber was wearing a wire, albeit playfully. In 2023, Bieber was featured in the song Moments for Diddy's 5th studio album, The Love Album, Off the Grid. Over a decade after Bieber reached out to Diddy on Twitter, the two had finally collaborated on a song.
I've been faking for a long time.
The Love Album was possibly the last high point of Diddy's career. It also...
You want to know the sad part, L, is that the parents skate by a lot. They're unknown. They're faceless. Nobody meets them. Nobody knows them. Nobody's able to call them out. Some of them make it into the media, like Diddy's mother, for example, right? Or Kanye's, like people that become recognizable, right? But all these parents, I couldn't tell you who these people's parents are because they're not like celebrity status people. They're still walking in and out of the supermarkets and nobody knows who they are. But just like what was revealed in the R. Kelly case and situation is these parents are opportunists too. These everybody, nobody's above, you know what I'm saying, dirt. These are all regular human beings that can be turned out by power, money, and opportunity. Okay. In the R. Kelly shit, it was exposed of how many of these parents brought the daughters to R. Kelly. You even had the ones that would drop their daughters off. Oh, you need her for the weekend? Here you go. Here's my daughter. Grown ass fucking man doing sexually based music. And the fathers or the mothers, shit, R. Kelly just called. Let's go. Pack your shit. And you walk your daughter to this man's fucking whatever resort for the weekend. Like we're going to do music, right? And then they come home and you don't know them. Maybe not. In some cases, probably don't even care what happened because it's opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to fuck around and get this $1 million through my daughter. I knew I made you for a reason. Disgusting. But it's the reality of this shit. So when we say, where's these people's parents? Some of them don't exist, like they're not around, didn't grow up with their parents. Some of their parents are there and actually are concerned and maybe did help. Then there's other parents that just pushed along with this shit because of the opportunity, and it's disgusting. And those parents absolutely exist, 1000%.
Might have marked the end of his friendship with Bieber. Part 3, Monster. In November 2023, Diddy's ex Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against him, alleging assault and sex trafficking. Despite settling, Diddy lost in the court of public opinion after footage of him seemingly beating Ventura was leaked. More lawsuits piled up before Diddy's arrest in September 2024.
Lawyer said in a statement that he voluntarily actually relocated to New York recently in anticipation of these charges.
After Diddy's indictment, over 100 others, some minors, would join in legal action against him. While Diddy has denied these claims and is innocent until proven guilty, the public may never view him the same way again. As such, the photos of him hanging out with Bieber have taken on a more disturbing sentiment. Given Bieber's age at the time and the crimes that allegedly took place at Diddy's parties, some have questioned if the young artist was groomed.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
Around the same time as Diddy's arrest, Bieber seemingly released a song about losing himself at a Diddy party. The song includes unsettling lyrics like, quote, "I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul." According to researchers, though, this viral song is almost certainly AI generated.
There's still some AI artifacts in the voice that I can hear.
As of writing, the real Bieber has remained mostly silent about his former mentor. About a month before Diddy's arrest, Justin and Hailey Bieber welcomed their first child. As Diddy dominated headlines, a source said that Bieber just wanted, quote, to focus on being a great dad and husband. A source also claimed that Bieber was, quote, advised to stay as far away as possible from anything and everything related to Diddy.
They've been absorbed in their own happiness and family, appreciating this time together.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified.
You know, too, a lot of them is probably very, very stressed out, believing that my name could come up in all of this shit. You know, you stamp this type of stuff on the internet. My wife, my daughter, you know, could see this stuff, could hear about this stuff. You just don't know if or when some of these stories come out in the trial. Let me pull this one up. This is the absolute GOAT when it comes to comedy, in my humble opinion. Dave Chapelle. He is the Michael Jordan of comedy. Okay. Nobody can do and say and get away with the type of shit that he does. And here's the thing about Dave Chapelle, staying in line with what this stream is about. It's his fucking voice. It's his voice, and it's the way he talks. The way Dave Chapelle talks, even though he does have, now that he's older and he's gained weight, you know, he does have a way huskier voice if you just have a regular conversation. I can hear that in like normalized interviews. But you go a little bit back, younger years when he's much smaller and everything like that, younger. Sometimes the way that he talks is like you can't tell if he's joking or not, right? And his delivery at times, people will be laughing, and he'll be in some of these interviews, and he's really being dead serious, and you just can't decipher. Like, is he mixing in jokes? Is he trying to get a message across? Is he dead serious? Is he emphasizing the way he's talking right now? But he's got multiple times where he's tried to expose the industry. And there's been a lot of times also where he's combated at a very high level the industry, like Netflix, right? He went to war with them. But we laughed at it and we joked about it. And even he had to turn into skits about the $50 million that he walked away from. What would make a man walk away from $50 million? And he gave that segment that is still classic and very open-minded of calling somebody crazy is a form of being dismissive, because we call people or things crazy immediately when we don't understand it. Now, there's people that deserve to be called crazy. Don't get it twisted. But we use the word so loosely that we apply it when we don't understand. Somebody walks away from 50 million. We say, I would never walk away from 50 million. So because he did it, he's crazy. But then you get a little bit more mature. You learn a little bit. You get a little bit more open-minded. You say, instead of me just being dismissive and say, you're automatically crazy, I don't care what happened because you walked away from 50 mil. Instead, let me ask the question, what would make a man living his dreams walk away from $50 million? That becomes the real question.
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
it takes a while when you punch through to adjust to the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean,
You know,
look, Mariah Carey
Oprah
played a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street, screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah.
He's being dead serious.
Stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress because, when you're a guy that generates money, people have a vested interest in controlling.
Yeah.
When Martin Lawrence was in that chair, we talked about Blue Streak.
I love it.
He played a role in your life, I believe. How do you feel about him as a person, as an artist?
Martin Lawrence is a guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, "What's going on with you, baby boy? What?" We'd talk about comedy, whatever. And, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, my God, Martin, are you okay?" And he said, "I got the best sleep I ever got in my life." That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this.
He's not joking.
What is
right
happening
now.
in Hollywood? That guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me."
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chapelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Man isn't joking, man. Like, he's dead serious. And even the way he's choosing his words there, it's like whistleblowing. It's like waving a flag. What makes Martin do that? What makes me go to Africa? What makes Mariah Carey get 100 million and then do that? People, listen, like, read between the lines of what I'm telling you. And it seems like I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking you a question. I'm telling you something. Whether you can understand it, agree with it, believe it, do your own research, follow up on it, is on you. So Terrence Howard, I don't think that he went full about to come chat in a second, full Cat Williams mode right there. But it's always the actors, and not always, but sometimes the actors and the singers that are kind of in the middle, right? Like, you're gonna see Cat Williams pop up on like an indie movie. He's going to have his times where he gets bigger roles, right? But same thing as Terrence Howard. Like, we're not going to, you don't see them getting a Kevin Hart type of role or something like a feature with The Rock. No, you're not going to see a co-star movie with Cat Williams and The Rock, the big heavyweight industry darlings that are fully entrenched in everything and a part of the actual Hollywood fabric, okay? You're not going to get that from them. So you're going to get a Terrence Howard in that same interview that we pulled up earlier. He was like, "Nah, I'm still working. I still got to be out there in the field or whatever," because they're kind of like in that middle space, right? Which also enables them to be able to speak the way that they speak. It's like, I'm not trying to be a media darling and a totally part of the Hollywood matrix. I'm not up there. I'm not Kevin Hart, where I gotta be this perfect person. I'm not LeBron James, where I got to be this perfect person. They're not giving me those opportunities anyway. So I can get on Shay and I could talk some shit. Same thing with Terrence Howard. He just up there on his podcast, and the podcast didn't even ask him that question. He just offered the Diddy story, right? Kevin Hart is not going to get on camera The Rock is not gonna get on camera. Some of these people are not gonna get on camera and tell you their Diddy story. The Terrence Howards and the Cat Williams of the world, they can and they will. Okay, it's not that they're crazy. And that's another reason why Chapelle is the GOAT, because to me, Chapelle operates in those stratosphere rooms, brackets, and deals, yet he still says and does the things that he'll attack people's sexual preferences. He'll attack the president and Trump. He'll go after religious-based topics. He'll do exposés on the industry, but he is not like Terrence Howard and Cat Williams. He is way above them. You know what I'm saying? So he's the GOAT for multiple reasons. But this is why the Terrence Howards, when they do these type of interviews, we got to listen. People will write them off and just assume like, because you're not making the Kevin Hart money, you disgruntled and you just out here talking shit. Nah, not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? And how much of it do we need to hear before we say like, yeah, there's a lot going on, man. Just wait until the Diddy trial and we're going to see so much more. Okay. Once again, shout out to D Hood Real. I appreciate you with your good morning drops. Shout out to Bron in the building. Says, ever hear about the verb conceded? Cal spoke on it. Hear about verb conceded. Nah, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means. I spoke to Cal yesterday though, real quick. He called me about he's got an event coming up. He was asking me about footage, and I was just like, "Why you calling me about footage, man? You're Cal, man. It's me, man. You know you good. Don't call me, ask me for no permission to use some footage for your trailers." He told me who he was using the footage, for. So I was like, "Ooh, you making the card, huh?" But anyway, yeah, we're not gonna let these slide by. It's easy for us to do. I saw that there's all these reports and call home from Loose Cannon of him and Brick Baby and Big U being involved in a fight in jail. I see it. I saw it. And I haven't even this morning jumped into the fucking the checks and balances chat. I'm pretty sure y'all got a million things in there. I'm gonna get in there this morning. It's easy to do that type of stuff. We could do that all day. But these streams as well are absolutely going to remain incorporated within the Sorry Issue podcast, where we take a step back for a second. We say, hold on, people, let's put on our grown man, grown woman pants and let's look at some of this shit and not let it fly over the radar, because some of us have been paying attention to it for years. It's absolutely real. And just wait. I guess people will really start believing when it's said in the Diddy trial. I was paying attention to that shit as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So when Terrence Howard and Cat Williams comes out, I'm not saying that what they say is gold, but they got my ear.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Issue podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.